the VIVE Preorders.
Yes, that's the first thing we have in store today, Michael. VIVE Preorders go live on February 29th, and it's still shipping in April. So just the other day we were saying like, we don't think Vive is really going to ship in April. They had this kind of problem in December when they said the pre-orders were going to go live. They waited till the end of December and then they said, hey, time's run out and we don't have anything ready. But no, they came out and said that everything's ready, that pre-orders will go live on the 29th and the shipping date still is around April.
But how much will it cost?
Well, that's the question, Michael. The thing is, many of us expect it to be more expensive than the Oculus, of course, since it already comes with the 2-1 controller things, with the Lighthouse system and everything.
I really like the one thing I read on the internet, I think it was Reddit, that it's going to cost 1,337 euros.
That would be the best price. Elite.
I would just pay $337 more just to get this price point, right? Lols.
Loli. What price do you think it will have?
I think it's around $1,000, 800 to $1,000.
I think maybe it can go up to 1,200. Who knows? But anyway, the cheaper the better, right?
For all of us.
For all of us. The thing is, you think HTC has the technology in place to be able to deliver with this promise? Like
they should have the capabilities on delivering, at least in terms of chipsets, displays. They already have the connections from the mobile phone market. They didn't do that great last year, so they're really into this VR thing now, being their last straw of surviving maybe as a company. So they're really into it and they're trying hard to make this work. So if that doesn't work out, they will have a really hard time.
And let's remember also that Valve and HTC are preparing a special like Vive content.
There's a special event, right?
Yeah, a special event by the end of January in Seattle, Washington. So that's where they will show a lot of the
games, because they really have to show games. Like I said last episode, I really dig the job simulator and everything. These small demos from Valve, they were great. The Portal demo was just astonishing, but that's not gonna be enough for a retail release. So they really have to show some games working with the hardware, like complete games like Lucky's Tale and Eve Valkyrie, at least something that looks like a more fully fledged product. And I actually think like Valve has to be there at launch and deliver something, so maybe we will see Half-Life 3. No.
Okay, this is not going to happen, and you know it. But yeah, I think they really need to show some games, because I mean, especially if you want to compete with Oculus and their Oculus Store, although Oculus has said that the fact that games are Oculus exclusive means they are Oculus Store exclusive, not Rift exclusive. So maybe the games from the Oculus Store could work in the Vive further down the line. But definitely they have to start showing some games, because in the end that's what's gonna make the people decide between one headset and the other. If there are certain games that are exclusive to one headset, the same way that happens with PS4 and Xbox One.
Tested did an interview, Norm from Tested, with Palmer at the CES show floor, and it was really weird. He was repeating stuff from former interviews that even went back half a year when he talked to us at Gamescom, and he came across like super PR, and he was nervous. He even said bullshit, like the biggest barrier is the PC cost. Like we said, he repeated that over and over again. And he said even if they had gone back to the full HD headset, the display, that would have gotten the price down to the whole thing for 1,300, 1,400, and neither of those prices would have made it a mainstream product. And that's just not true, because then the headset would have been, like he's originally promised, in the 350 to 450 ballpark.
Well, then the ballpark again. But then the whole quality of the final product would have been compromised. But yeah, the thing is, if you have a $300 headset, it will use less. It will require less resolution, and then you won't require a $1,500 PC. A $700 PC will do just fine. So the overall price will go down.
To
Whereas if you have
$1,000.
a more powerful headset requires a more powerful PC. So one thing really affects the price of the other thing, so both things go up or down at the same time.
Exactly.
And he also even said something like, I get a lot of emails from people that really like racing sims and say, hey, I've looked at the Oculus and I'm not really interested in Oculus Touch. Please don't bundle any kind of crap, any kind of Wiimote with it. I just want the headset. And she said, oh, we're concerned about this, that's why we packaged it this way. But then you see that inside the package there's an Xbox One controller
and the
that
remote
nobody really wants, and the Gear VR remote that I think it can be useful and probably only costs them like $2 to make. But still, they are still bundling stuff, while he was saying that they didn't want to bundle Wiimotes. So yeah, he didn't came across maybe as
laid back and normal like he used to.
Yeah, probably he was a little bit nervous, and also he has to do so many of these interviews in two or 3 days at CES. So, well, I wouldn't blame him that much. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it wasn't his brightest moment. Yeah. I think.
On more positive Oculus news, you and many of the other early buyers of the Oculus are going to have the opportunity to play Valkyrie.
Yes,
from the 18th of January onwards.
The spaceship dogfighting simulator by CCP Games will open its alpha testing on January the 18th. So the prerequisites that you need to have is basically to have a DK2. That's the only thing that's mandatory. You have to go to Valkyrie's alpha testing page. You have to put your serial number of the DK2, which is located behind the front cap. You have to take out the front cap, the HDMI connector, and the mini USB connector, and there you can find.
So first they want people to break their Oculus.
Yeah, you have to tinker with your DK2 that costs you 400 euros, and then you have to read your serial number from there, and you have to obviously put your PC specs so they can distribute the game. And the first alpha testing wave will go out on January the 18th, but there will be more waves through the following months. So if you don't get in by next week, you can wait a little bit more.
But you will try it out as soon as possible, right?
As soon as possible. I will be there the 18th. I'm pretty confident that I will get in the first alpha testing wave.
Okay, and hopefully we will have something on this topic here on this very channel.
Sure. I encourage everyone to check in this channel back by the 19th or the 20th. We will have something up for sure.
Finishing up the VR news, there were lots of gadgetries and another headset even. So Razer actually showed their headset, the OSVR, which is more in the ballpark of the original Oculus price with a 1080p display. And they say it's going to be open source. It's going to work with your Steam VR games. It's going to work with all of the developers' games that are open to this kind of thing. So it's actually kind of there to buy this version of the headset right now. I think it retails for $300 at the moment, and it's a dev kit as well. So what do you think about this option? Would you rather buy your version of the developer kit or this version now if you want it in today?
I think if the quality is the same as the DK2, because I haven't tried the OSVR, so I cannot judge just the OSVR, but if it's on par with the DK2 quality for a consumer product, I would definitely go with CV1. I think the improvements for the final user are really, really, really necessary, especially in terms of resolution. I mean, as an experiment or as a way of tinkering or developing things or just experimenting with the technology, yes, OSVR and 1080p, you can obviously do stuff with that. But to avoid eye strain and to avoid fatigue over the longer periods of time, which is what you want with a consumer product, right? You want to be able to play all the evening with that.
Yeah.
then I think you really, really, really need to go up in resolution to at least where CV1 has gone.
Yeah,
I mean,
you just tried Euro Truck Simulator,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. I was trying Euro Truck Simulator yesterday evening, and it's really fun. I had a lot of fun with that experience, but just reading the text and trying to differentiate things that are really far away, it can be really taxing to your eyes with only 1080p, and the illusion is not destroyed, but it's hampered by the fact that you can actually see the pixels on the screen.
Yeah. And talking about the gadgetry, what I found really interesting was like a backpack that was shown. I think Linus Tech Tips did a hands-on with it. They put a laptop in the back, and that powers your mobility VR experience.
It's like a way to be untethered, right? So
yeah.
you have all the stuff
you can walk around your room, but then again you're still limited by your room. You won't have like a walking thing to walk on that is just like
and the batteries, of course. We don't know how much. If you have to power a really top tier PC laptop with that, then maybe I see that more as a thing like, for renting or for things like we've seen in Void VR, which was like kind of like a theme park but in virtual reality, where you can walk around a corridor in the physical space, but really you are carrying this kind of backpack and the goggles, and you are in a completely different place where they have like huge fans in the physical world that hit you in the face, and you're feeling like you're on the top of a mountain or something. And I see this kind of technology not for the end consumer, but just sort of like maybe for companies or businesses that want to do like VR arcades or something like that. Then I think this could be really useful. We've actually seen some experiments, like a guy doing the DK2 untethered experience with 2 lightsabers, running around the room, jumping and dodging lasers, which is really crazy to see. But I don't see like everyone having like, oh, here's my VR backpack.
No, probably not. What is going to be a reality, though, is all of the other experience we talked about it concerning movies. Disney is now also entering the VR space, and they're backing a startup that wants to be like YouTube, Hulu, Netflix. You looked that up. What is it about?
Yeah, it's called Littlstar. It got huge loads of funding from Disney and from many other companies. And basically they want to be like sort of a hub for virtual reality content. So it's not only... there's not only going to be games for VR. In fact, Palmer Luckey himself said that only about 50% of the use of the Oculus accounts to games. The rest is kind of video 360 content in what they call experiences,
which can be super impressive. Like even on Facebook, these 360 degree camera videos that are going around at the moment are super impressive and fun to look at. Even on your phone, you start, what I can browse in this video? This is pretty epic.
In YouTube also, in fact, I mean, browsing them in this way with the phone is incredible. The Weeknd, for example, did the first, what is considered to be like the first VR music video, where things were like happening all around, so you could watch the video like 5 or 10 times and you could see different things as you were looking around. Of course, this technology is in a very early stage, and most of the uses can be like gimmicky in a kind of way that don't really add much to the narrative, but certainly it's a stepping stone in the right direction. And maybe with Littlstar we have like the YouTube of VR, and the place where the content is curated and you know that the experiences and the videos you're going to find there are worth you checking them out. For example, companies like Wargaming, creators of World of Tanks, are doing videos and uploading them to Littlstar, and you can not only check it with your Rift or with your DK2,
it works
but also
with everything, right?
Yeah, with Google Cardboard.
Yeah,
your phone. So yeah, pretty interesting.
The last thing I would like to talk about is the thing the Verge had up. They talked about the Genworth R70i aging suit, which like adds extra weight. It simulates you as a person aging. At the start, you're super fresh. I mean, you're getting into this exoskeleton suit, which already weighs a ton, I must imagine.
It sounds creepy. How does that work?
You put it on, and then it adds like pressure to your muscles from behind. You have like the spine going down, and it is even behind your arms and legs, and then it puts more pressure and more pressure, so you get like
You start hunching.
Yeah, you start hunching, walking like this, and it even you have a headset on, and then your eyesight gets worse. It all gets a bit blurry, and you don't hear as well anymore. Everything gets a bit yeah, just like me right now. So it simulates the effects of aging, and it must be like so. Well, the people who've tried it say it's really really something you are really happy when you get this thing off, and you feel young again. So. Makes you appreciate it so much more.
Imagine if you're feeling old and then the computer crashes and you have the exoskeleton.
You can't get out.
It starts rebooting and it's freezing, frozen, and you're like, you can't take the goggles off and you don't see anything. Ooh.
But this is just amazing if you combine this to the possibilities of VR that are going to be there pretty soon. It's amazing what will be able to be done in the next couple of years.
Especially, I mean, not only for, in this case, it's like the other way around, as VR has usually been used in this way. Let me explain. In this case, you use VR to simulate an impaired state in which you wouldn't want to be, although we all are going to be.
It's not a dream state you want to be in, but it's gonna happen to all of us eventually, right?
Yeah, but it also has the opposite use. So for someone that is in a wheelchair, they can suddenly be running somewhere with a modified exoskeleton, right? Or
yeah, probably. I mean, that's like in science fiction with suits that make you like super strong, like Terminator style. You get in those suits and you're super powerful.
I think this is the first step in that direction. I mean, it's easier to make you physically impaired with an exoskeleton, but maybe they will keep working on it and make it so it's the other way around.
It's already happening in the military. Like they have like strange eyesights with overlays like HUDs in their helmets that show you enemy movement and like tell you where your friends are. Like in
Metal Gear.
Yeah. Ooh. We just went into, what was it? You told me before the show. The Metal Gear Online?
Yeah, Metal Gear Online beta is actually starting in PC like this week.
Well, that's cool. So on this note, do we have anything else we want to talk about?
I think we covered more or less everything that happened this week in VR. Of course, if anyone that's watching this video has any comments or things we missed out on something that's really interesting, they can leave it down in the comments.
And we would be glad to answer your questions and give us an opinion. And on this note, we will see each other soon again. And there's going to be some other stuff coming up this week, some other new formats, playlists we thought about, and feel free to check them out, and we see you there.
Okay. Bye-bye.